Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, welcome to this webinar on automating cyber and privacy compliance. I'm Alan Calder, and I'm talking about how CyberComply can help you automate cyber and privacy compliance with a special offer that is valid for the whole of Q1 2024. IT governance, as you probably know, is the home of security and privacy best practice. A CyberComply platform combined with the expert guidance available through IT governance is the way in which any organization can navigate its way to safety, avoiding the combined challenges of cyber criminals, privacy and security laws and regulations, and everything else that's out there designed to try and disrupt and hold the ship of commerce in its journey towards success and profit. IT Governance is an organization that has been some 20 years in the business of helping its clients deal with cybersecurity and privacy. We have more than 12,000 clients across 5 continents, a comprehensive cyber and privacy products and service offering, and a suite of expertise, consultants, trainers, and subject matter expertise widely recognized through multiple accreditations and certifications as having expertise and deep expertise in the subject of cybersecurity. And that's why we say to our clients, our expertise gives you peace of mind. We've helped more than 1,300 organizations prepare and maintain compliance to ISO 27001, the International Information Security Management Standard. We've delivered more than 1,600 cybersecurity projects, including penetration testing, PCI, SWIFT, pretty well, you name it. We've issued over 7,000 Cyber Essentials certificates, and we have more than 1,100 organizations using our governance, risk and compliance software, as well as many, many thousands of people who have qualified for internationally recognized qualifications through our training business. Let me start off by making the obvious point that today's technical cybersecurity solutions simply aren't working. I picked 4 breaches at random from the last few weeks in the headlines that organizations who've been breached have made. And the reality is that you can find these on each and every day in just about any newspaper because, hey, if technology was the solution, we wouldn't be going on having these breaches. And they're not just about breaches. 52% of companies in Germany said that cyber attacks threaten their existence, according to a recent Reuters report. And the reason for that is complicated. The first is that the attack surface is expanding. The shift of organizations into the cloud, the move to hybrid and remote working, the proliferation of Internet of Things, of end-user devices, of connectivity, of all of the ways in which we've made it possible for people to work and operate on the move, both to access their own resources, but also to access the resources of their suppliers and vendors, has meant that the opportunities for attackers have become very much more substantial. The attack surface, the perimeter, has expanded very, very dramatically. At the same time, the threat horizon, and if you think of this as a heads-up display, has got crowded. All of the things that you might have been used to are still there. They're more sophisticated, more effective. And to that mix, you now have AI, you have deep fakes, all of which are ensuring that for your average organization, working out how to deal with what's coming at them is really complicated and difficult to do. And the problem is the human beings. And unless you disconnect yourself entirely from the world, from the internet, you're going to go on having human beings who are accessing data and systems. And the reality is, however much you spend on technology, there is still the risk, the likelihood that an individual will make a mistake, will click on a link that they shouldn't, will download some information they shouldn't, will upload some personal data that they shouldn't, all of which gives attackers a vector of attack to the organization, which enables the attackers to exploit other vulnerabilities which sit behind that surface entrance. Legislators and customers are very well aware of the fact that for many years, most organizations have seen technology as a solution. They haven't recognized that solutions to the cybersecurity and privacy challenge require a broader governance, risk management, and compliance approach. Legislators and customers are now expecting boards, as a matter of course, to have a board-led strategy around GRC for information security and privacy. International standards like ISO 27001, sectoral regulation like PCI DSS, privacy regulation like EU and UK GDPR, and the proliferation of similar legislation across the world, across the whole of the United States, for instance, the Network and Information Security Directive, the SWIFT compliance resilience requirements, the Digital Operational Resilience Act in the EU, the Securities and Exchange Commission regulations in the US, are all examples of legislation which has emerged in the last 3 or 4 years, some of it very recently, making very clear the obligation on boards to build GRC strategies around cybersecurity and privacy at pain of significant regulatory intervention if they fail to do so. On top of that, you have cyber insurers insisting on evidence that you are properly secure before they will provide cyber insurance. There is more legislation coming, and of course the penalties for non-compliance are not only punitive at the corporate level, they're also becoming punitive at the individual level, with the possibility of individuals being sanctioned and even potential custodial sentences for perhaps misleading the market or misleading customers around the state of privacy and cybersecurity. And even when you've got on top of all of that, the reality is that the law, the regulation, the standard will change, and you will then have to go through updating of it. And for many organizations who find themselves having to comply with between 6 and a dozen different standards today, they also find that they've got to handle updates and upgrades across that panoply, that collection of requirements on an ongoing and regular basis. And that's all happening at once. Today in the marketplace, we see the emergence of Euro privacy certification, enabling you to demonstrate GDPR compliance across the EU and in related jurisdictions. The transatlantic data privacy framework has come into place, enabling data to move between the EU, the UK, Switzerland, and the United States, in spite of the fact the US doesn't have a federal level data protection law. The SEC regulations, the Network and Information Security Directive 2 across the whole, the 27 members in the European Union, the CMMC for the US defense industrial base, DORA I mentioned earlier, PCI DSS, and of course ISO 27001, for which some 60,000 companies still have to upgrade from their 27001 2013 certification to the 2022 version, and there is only until October 2022 to do that. All of these happening at once. So we've gone from an environment within where you could focus on implementing one standard at a time to an environment where you have to implement, deal with, and maintain multiple standards simultaneously. And the average organization doesn't have the resource to do that. In most organizations, compliance, security, and privacy officers don't want to be seen as a cost center or a barrier to doing business. They want to be a value-adding part of the supply chain. They want to partner with external vendors that can help them deploy best practice so that they can mitigate conduct and reputation risk. They can manage administrative and regulatory reporting burdens cost effectively and efficiently in a way that enables their managements to stay out of trouble. And so the key elements they look for in a GRC solution is that it should be built around best practice, not just what a company thinks is a good idea, but best practice. Recognizes the need to inform the board, because the board is accountable and needs to be able to understand, support, and endorse the cybersecurity and privacy initiatives. Needs to allow management to take its responsibility forward and understand what it's doing in implementing and maintaining frameworks, and mitigates key risks, particularly in terms of all staff awareness and compliance. So awareness, knowledge, and behavior are core to compliance, and organizations have to make significant changes, therefore, to their management systems and behaviors in order to achieve what we call cyber resilience. And building cyber resilience through cyber defense in depth comes down to finding a partner whose expertise enables you to have the peace of mind that you can focus on your business because cybersecurity and privacy are dealt with. So cyber defense in depth is a core deliverable. And cyber and privacy risks are simply different sides of the same coin. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability are the building blocks of all legislation that deals with cybersecurity and privacy. And so any management system that you are looking to implement should see CINA as the building blocks of that management system. And so best practice, international standards would tie into regulatory requirements are the logical and sensible way for an organization to tackle this. And that means working across all three domains. You can't simply look for a solution which enables you to deal with the process side of cybersecurity and privacy, because implementing a set of requirements means that you need people and you need expertise. So the mix of people, process, and technology is fundamental to an effective cybersecurity and privacy solution. You need people who are trained, who have the competences around implementation, audits, around how to communicate, how to tie together the different elements of a solution. You need good processes which ensure that boards' requirements around risk appetite and risk management are reflected in the way the organization goes about actually managing and controlling its mitigations for risks. And the technologies that you put in place should be reflective of the board's decisions about risk appetite and risk management strategy. So a good people, process, technology mix across all of the three domains is fundamental to a good solution to becoming competitive, becoming a leader in terms of how you use cybersecurity and privacy to advance the organization. And you do that really through a single GRC cyber RegTech ecosystem, recognizing that all of the different components of cybersecurity and privacy actually fit together. They have confidentiality, integrity, and availability at their heart, and therefore looking for a service, a solution that enables you to pick and mix, to pick the standards that you need to apply to, either because they meet your board's risk management strategies, or because your clients require them, or because they're regulatory jurisdictional requirements. You should be able to pick and mix exactly what you need for the markets in which you're trading, and enable yourself to access not only the functionality that enables you to do the job properly, but also a selection of information and guidance for people who need to understand it. So books and standards. You need to be able to access staff awareness training and competence skills, and you need to be able to access consultants who can help you implement the framework. And so you need to be able to do all of that through a single integrated compliance platform. And a single integrated compliance platform is exactly what CyberComply is. It is a complete solution that enables you to integrate the building blocks of cyber defense in depth: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Set of services that enable you to do all of those across all of the standards that are today and tomorrow relevant for what you need to be able to do. And they need to cover off books and standards, training, implementation, compliance, and audit support, the testing of your systems to make sure that they work. And so that, with a management dashboard that enables the board to see what's going on, is the secret of automating cyber security and privacy compliance. And CyberComply, which is an out-of-the-box comprehensive solution, it delivers to you the most comprehensive set of documentation across multiple standards and frameworks. It delivers functionality from risk assessment all the way through to managing privacy, managing data flow, managing incidents, documentation, putting your own implementation documentation in, managing tasks across the organization, managing all of the of implementing and maintaining CyberComply comes out of the box with CyberComply in the cloud as a cloud accessible, multi-user, very straightforward platform to use for managing what you're doing. And it's a platform which is undergoing rapid development. So there are a number of additional chunks of functionality which will become available through the next 2 to 3 months. Those include being able to see staff awareness training reports in the management dashboard, so that you can see exactly where you are in terms of that critical component of compliance is staff awareness. You'll be able to integrate Cyber Essentials, for instance, if Cyber Essentials is a key part of your framework, and tie it into exactly how you go about managing all the rest, to manage audits online in both internal and third party, which takes huge chunks of cost out of preparing for and carrying through audits. You'll be able to tie CyberComply into your organizational infrastructure through a single sign-on. You'll be able to have penetration tests delivered straight through the application so that you can upload the results into your dashboard and tie those into your risk assessment. So what you get with CyberComply is a tool which is not only designed by experts, by people who've been delivering cybersecurity and privacy solutions for 20 years, but is designed to enable you to continue sucking into your management approach and framework all of the information you need to do that effectively. And you can do that all at one price. So all of the features currently available in CyberComply, everything that is launched through the next quarter, everything that's launched through the first year of your subscription is available at a single price. Outstandingly good price. You can see the prices in the slide. It tells you you get everything, but the offer must end on the 31st of March. So you need to have signed up and taken out a subscription to CyberComply by the 31st of March to be able to get the first year, all of the document kits, all of the frameworks, all of the functionality today, and what comes next. And the roadmap goes forward for a number of years after this quarter. You get all of that for this single price available now. And for, at the top end, £7,500, which gets you 3 administrative users, 22 collaborators, 25 people, accountable, responsible people able to manage their parts of the cybersecurity framework, able to produce a risk assessment, all the related documentation, drive tasks through the organization, send out requirements and forget about them until they get dealt with. All of that functionality comes at the single price. And it's a platform that customers already think the world of. So here are 4 customers who told us what they thought CyberComply had done for them, and a number of logos of organizations, some of which you might recognize, who use CyberComply as part of how they manage their cybersecurity and privacy security. So we say, don't risk it, CyberComply it. Go today to the IT governance website and look at CyberComply, have a look at the pricing, see what an outstanding opportunity this gives you to automate your entire process. And of course, what you'll get with that is not just CyberComply, but you'll get our best out-of-the-box support. We have the most informed, the most practical support available directly through the platform to help you deal with any of the questions and issues you might have in implementing CyberComply. So don't risk it, CyberComply it, and get started today. Thank you.